Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 18 of What If Kaguya Was Naruto's Mother. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also stay in tune because after this I'm gonna be posting what if Naruto had multiple people sealed inside of him, so stay in tune for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And also guys, go ahead and check out Anime King 2. I post a new episode of What If Naruto Was a Vampire. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well. And later on I'm going to be posting What If Naruto had the unknown Sharingan. So stay in tune for that as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last time we left off, Naruto brought Kushina and Minato to the monastery, as he was the monk, as he married both of them, as they had a wonderful day after that with cake, and Naruto telling Minato about Kaguya and Hagoromo. He didn't tell Minato who they really were, he just told him that it was his mother and also his brother. The married couple then went back to Konoha as Naruto stayed at the monastery for a month. When he came back to Konoha, he saw Kakashi as he decided to do what Minato said, as he asked Kakashi if he could follow him, as both of them went to the memorial stone, as the two of them had a long talk. And Naruto told Kakashi that Obito and Rin wouldn't want to see him going like this and acting this way. He needs to find a new reason for living. He needs to find something in life. Naruto then headed back as he saw Kushina crying at the office. Sarutobi also noticed Naruto, even though Naruto changed his eyes and his hair, and his face has a little wrinkle. Sarutobi still realized who he was, as he found out that Mito was dead. That is why Kushina was so sad. Him and Sarutobi then headed off, as Sarutobi and him talked. It seems like when Naruto extracted the Nine Tails, some of the Nine Tails yokai stay behind, as it slowly eat away Mito organs, killing her. We then had a time skip 9 months later, as Kushina, she has been pregnant and today was the day that she was going to give birth. Naruto felt something, as he felt something watching him. He didn't know what it was, as it was underground, as he spread his chakra out. As Naruto realized, he saw an image of it. It was like a plant man with a Venus flytrap on his head, half of him black and half of him white, but he quickly went deeper into the ground. As Naruto stayed behind waiting for Kushina, suddenly something flashed into the room, as Naruto then heard ruckus outside, as Minato had a bundle in his arms. Minato then flashed away, as he came back with Kushina, as they put Kushina down with her baby boy. As Minato then told Naruto that the night is attacking the village, and he have to seal it inside of a vessel. As Naruto didn't want it that, but him and Kushina headed off, as Naruto realized he could have slaughtered those ninjas back then. He could have killed them all, but he was hiding his identity. But now, he wasn't going to let that happen. He was going to let Minato, Kushina, and his grandson be taken away from him. Meanwhile, the fox was building a Biju bomb, but everyone was surprised when something blurred past them and kicked the fox under his chin, as the Biju bomb was blown up in the air. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. Go ahead and switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So without further ado, let's start this new episode. We start this episode with Minato, as he was kneeling down in the forest, as he pumped chakra into a scroll. There was a poof, as a sealing array was now in front of him. After flashing to the office with Kushina in his arms, he had laid her down in the couch, as he headed towards the secret library in the Hokage's office. Once inside, he made his way over to the 8 tetragram ceiling style, as Minato was now ready. Minato then quickly threw a 3-pronged kunai as he flashed away, as a huge fireball smashed into the area where he once was. "Well, for Tokage, back so soon," said a voice. As Minato recognized that voice, it was the one he heard earlier this night. As Minato turned to see the masked man, the one who he called Madara Uchiha, he was glad that he left Kushina and their son back in the office with several defensive seal active, so he could take out this man without worrying about them. Minato said nothing to the man as he knew he had to finish this quickly, as he could hear the people roaring, attacking back the Kyuubi, and the Kyuubi attacking back. As Minato and the masked man clashed, they then stopped for a while as the Kyuubi was being pushed out of the village. "Kyuubi, destroy the village," said Madara as his Sharingan spun in his eyes, as the Kyuubi started to build a Biju bomb. Before he could fire it, a blur knocked away the Kyuubi as Minato quickly turned back his attention to his opponent, but Madara was not there, as Minato had Sage Mode activated, as he put a seal on Madara in their fight a minute ago. As he quickly searched around and found him, he then raised his hand as he created a giant Rasengan, as Minato jumped over to his spot and slammed the Rasengan into the ground, as Minato formed another Rasengan as he had a 3-pronged kunai in his hand this time, as he rushed forward as Madara did the same thing, as he threw the 3-pronged kunai, as Madara extended his hand, as the kunai passed right through him. "You're mine now," said Madara. But Minato vanished in a flash, as he appeared behind him and sank the Rasengan into Madara's back. Minato then flashed away, as Madara looked up and wondered, why did Minato run? As Madara saw the Kyuubi, it was dropping from the air, as his eyes went wide for a second. Who was powerful enough to kick away the Kyuubi? As the Ninetale crashed down right on top of him. Meanwhile, Naruto released the Genjutsu over his hair, as hundreds of shinobis were beyond shock as they just saw this man kicked away the Kyuubi with great force, kick him out of the village. How was that even possible? But Naruto never said anything to them, he just went off in top speed. When Naruto arrived at the area that the Ninetale had landed, a few dozen meters or so away, the Biju was just shaking off the damage. As Naruto looked around and tried to find what was controlling the Biju, he might just sense it quick enough, a tendril of chakra that is messing with the chakra interfering with the chakra that make up Kurama. It had turned him into a puppet. He is being used, as he could sense the chakra that was controlling him coming from beneath Kurama, but the person must be dead since Kurama landed on top of them. But he could still feel the chakra that mean the person was still there. As Naruto watched Kurama open his eyes, as he saw the Sharingans, he understand fully now. It was the same thing that Madara did back then. The only way for Naruto to break the connection was to visibly touch Kurama and rip away the chakra. But before Naruto could do anything, the Ninetale got back on his feet, as he then roared at Naruto. The earth then started to tremble as Naruto was manipulating the earth. A giant boulder broke from the ground, as all the stone came towards Naruto, and a second later, the Kyuubi was now face to face with a giant earth monster, as Naruto was in the dead center, controlling it all with his chakra, as it had giant arms and giant legs that was made from the earth, but it was really dense because of Naruto's chakra. As the golem was completed, the ground stopped shaking and the Kyuubi could properly stand. The fox growled as it then sent out 4 of its tails. 2 came in from the sides and 2 came in from the other side, trying to tear right through the stomach. The golem 2 arms grabbed the first set of tails, but 2 arms came from the golem's stomach and grabbed the other tails, as the golem then pulled the Kyuubi towards him. As the Kyuubi tried to fight back, but the golem raised his feet and stepped right in the Kyuubi's face, as earth started to come over the Kyuubi, pinning him down. The tail of the Kyuubi started to go berserk as his head was flailing around, trying to break out. As the tails finally found the golem, as all of them started to slam right into it. As the tails hit their target over and over, chipping away the stones that created. But it was all for nothing as the earth started to break apart again, covering the golem, fixing back all of the destruction that the Kyuubi caused. As more rocks started to join onto it, strengthening the golem. The golem then let go of the 2 tails that it was holding, as the two arms retreated back into it as well. The golem then removed his feet as he lifted up the Kyuubi by his neck as he was about to slam him in the ground, but the Kyuubi saw where it was going as it wrapped its tails around the golem, pulling the golem down as well, as the Kyuubi was slammed down hard but the golem was brought down as well. As the Biju's tail started to tighten and squeeze the golem, trying to break it apart. But seeing that the Kyuubi was frozen at this point, the golem raised his arms and started to slam down fists right on the Kyuubi. All the fox could do was close his eyes as he was in a weird position, seeing that he was trying to crush the golem with his tails, but he couldn't move. Blow after blow, the golem rained down on the nine tails, fists smashing into his face. Each fist was doing damage, but the tail beast was healing too fast for them to be any real damage. The Kyuubi had enough as he extended his head in a fast motion as the golem punched him right in the neck. But the Kyuubi was already near as he clomped down on the golem head, ripping it from his shoulder as the golem body fell limp. As the Kyuubi released his tail and threw the golem to the side as he spit out his head. As the Kyuubi got back to his feet and let out a roar of triumph as the roar echoed through Konoha as the shinobi felt fear again. As all of them saw, the only thing that was able to defeat the Kyuubi and put it down, it was defeated. So who could defeat it now? As the people of Konoha, all the shinobis, were scared to see the Kyuubi marching back towards Konoha. As the shinobi started to back up, as most of them looked like they were ready to flee and get out of there. But the Kyuubi was stopped as he felt something grab his tails. As he turned around and growled, as he saw the golem, it had back its head, but this time it had glowing blue eyes. The golem then turned as he pulled the Kyuubi with great strength and threw him over his shoulder, as the Kyuubi was sent crashing a distance away from Konoha. As the golem wasn't done there, as he rushed back and grabbed 7 of the Kyuubi's tail, holding it in his arms. As it spun the Kyuubi around and threw him further into the forest, as all the trees along the way was destroyed, as the Kyuubi stopped with a boom. But he quickly got back to his feet, enraged more than ever how he has feel, as this thing just disrespected him. As the Kyuubi saw the golem standing between him and Konoha, like it was some sort of protector for the village. The Kyuubi then turned around as it raised one of his tails and slammed it into the earth. A miniature earthquake quickly shook the area with great force. As the Kyuubi raised more tails and started to beat the earth like a drum, everything that was between the Kyuubi and the golem was turned into nothing but cinders. It was once a large forest, but because of the Kyuubi sending ripple through the area, as the ground was also cracking and crumbling, it was also raising and being destroyed. But the golem was kneeling as none of the tremors passed him, as he was doing something to prevent anything from getting to Konoha. After 10 seconds, the Kyuubi finally stopped. The Biju seemed to be in a daze, as it started to shake its head from side to side, as it then roared out, as it then turned around ready to face Konoha again. The Kyuubi then stopped, as he shook his head. He then turned around and started to run away. The golem then collapsed on the ground, as the earth was being fixed back. The earth of the golem started to balance out everything, as it disintegrated and reabsorbed back into the earth until nothing was left. After that, everyone waited for the Kyuubi to return or the golem to attack again, but nothing happened, as everyone then started to cheer. Meanwhile, Minato was in the forest, as he knew that Madara wasn't dead, as he see the man ability that he could phase through anything, so he was searching for the man. It was then that Minato saw that man with the white hair, as Minato was beyond shock. The man's chakra reserves were nothing that he ever felt before. It was far stronger than the Kyuubi's. It was like opening up a normal water bottle and finding out that it was deep as the ocean. As Minato knew this was the elemental sage. Jiraiya had talked about him. He has also heard the legends, and he respected that man, as he was the one who protected Konoha back then. But Minato then saw the man summon a earth golem, as the earth started to break apart and form a humanoid figure, as he then started to fight the masked man. As Minato decided to get out of there, as he couldn't withstand two powerful beings like that fighting, he would be crushed. So Minato continued his search. As his eyes then went wide, the masked man was still here. "Got you," said Minato. As Minato flashed over there, the masked man tried to counter, but because of the seal that Minato placed on him, Minato vanished and reappeared behind him with incredible speed. As he formed a Rasengan, but this one was different. "Lightning release, spiraling spear," said Minato, as he crushed a lightning enhanced Rasengan in Madara's back. As Madara was blown into the ground, as Minato jumped away as all the debris and everything. As Madara crawled up near to the tree, as he tried to stand up, but he coughed up blood inside his mask. As he pushed himself against the tree, he knew that the elemental stage was here, but Zetsu haven't given the word to pull out yet, so he was going to keep the fourth Hokage busy. He then noticed Minato had his hand at his side. "That jutsu you use, you haven't fully completed it yet," said the masked man. "No, I haven't," said Minato, as a small smile came on his face, still holding his arm at his side. "But I didn't need to be master for it to serve its purpose." As Madara realized what he was talking about, "It limited my movements." "Almost," said Minato. "It was meant to paralyze you completely and knock you unconscious, but as I said, it served its purpose." As he then shook his arm trying to gain momentum back in it, "It didn't just decrease your mobility, it also delayed your reaction time. Now, with my greater speed, and you slower than before, this battle is mine. You may defeat me, fourth Hokage, but can you do it before the Kyuubi destroy Konoha?" Minato quickly pulled out his three-pronged kunai, as he didn't say anything. "Actually, Uchiha, I think you will find out that Hokage has more than enough time to kill you," said a voice from the side. As both of them were surprised, they didn't even felt anything. How did this person get here? As the both of them gasped when they saw who it was. As Madara was shocked, how was he here? He saw when he built that earth golem. So, he was not inside of it? But Minato was beyond surprised. This man looked exactly like his father, even though he looked 20 years younger. But Minato then noticed his clothes. He was wearing the same thing. Sure, the hair was white, his eyes were purple, and his skin looked younger. But there was no mistaking, this man was his father. "How are you here? You took form in the golem when it was created, and all of the chakra was coming from the head. That means you should be in there supplying it with your chakra, and the Kyuubi bit it off. So you're supposed to be dead." "Chakra strings are an amazing thing," the sage said. As Madara saw with his Sharingan, chakra strings extended from his fingers, going straight to the golem. As he watched, the man created back the golem's head, as the golem started to attack the Kyuubi again. As the elemental sage was controlling it, like a puppeteer controlling a puppet. Madara stood there as he knew anything would just phase right through him. "I already figured out your ability," said the sage, as he vanished in a blur. Madara then felt a fist connected with his mask, but the blow impacted his face under that, as he was sent flying. As his mask cracked under the strength of the hit, his cheekbone was broken in many places. "How?" Madara said, as he landed with a thud. "How? I had my Kamui activated. How? How did you hit me?" he wondered. As Madara looked up as he saw the sage coming down. As Madara quickly rolled to the right to avoid the punch, which he succeeded in. Unfortunately, the shockwave sent him flying through the air as he smashed into a tree. As Madara slowly opened his eye, as he coughed up some blood, he looked over to see a giant crater in the ground. If that fist had hit him, his entire body would have been blown to pieces. As Madara tried to get back up to his feet, but he couldn't as he fell to his knees in pain. As he needed to retreat, but his partner, Zetsu, was taking too long. If they didn't leave, they will be captured or killed. The tremors then stopped. As Madara didn't care, he was leaving. As he started to suck himself in a swirling vortex, but a fist slammed in his back, stopping him. As he was sent kicked forward, as Madara was going right to the sage, Minato was the one who had kicked him in the back, as he saw the sage forming a small white ball on his index finger. The ball was flooded with chakra, as a feeling told him if the ball touched him, it would kill him on impact. The only reason why Naruto hasn't killed the masked man yet is because his chakra. It wasn't the same chakra that he felt underground, the thing that was watching him. That strange plant-like thing, and he wanted to see if this masked man would call his ally. But things have gone on long enough as he was about to kill him now. But before he could hit him with that ball, he felt something underground. As a small smile came on his lips, as he then jumped back. As 3 spikes break from the ground where Naruto was a while ago. As it then caught the masked man cradling him. Naruto was surprised as he hadn't seen anyone use wood style in years now, and he knew that Kurama was dead. As the cocoon covered the masked man, Naruto vanished in a blur as he appeared above the cocoon and smashed it to pieces. But he realized the masked man was already gone. He probably sucked himself away in that swirling vortex, and also that thing underground was also gone as well. Hearing the sounds of crunching grass, Naruto turned to see his son coming towards him. He was the one who kicked him in the back and launched him towards him. As Naruto quickly turned his head after looking at his son already figured out who he was. As Naruto saw Kurama slapping his tails on the ground, as the ground was shaking, tremors everywhere. If you will excuse me, Hokage-sama, I will have to go and remove the influence that is affecting the Kyuubi. No need, said Minato in a very cold tone. As Minato started to go through hand sign. Contract sealing, said Minato, activating the sealing that he had slipped on Madara moments ago when he kicked him towards the elemental sage, breaking the connection that the Kyuubi had with the masked man. Kurama then stopped as he shook his head as he looked around to see where he was. But Kurama saw the village of Konoha and thought they had something to do with this. They were probably trying to capture him again and mess with his mind. As Kurama started to march forward, Kurama, stop, said Naruto, as he connected with Kurama. Uncle, Kurama said in surprise. The Uchiha who was controlling you is gone. There is no need to search for him, said Naruto. Where is he? I'll tear him from limb to limb for controlling me, said Kurama. I don't know, Kurama, but right now you need to leave. Konoha was going to steal you once before I arrive, and now they might try to do it, so you need to make yourself scarce. Are you saying that you wouldn't defend me, Naruto? Kurama asked. Of course I would defend you, Kurama, Naruto said. But what would you gain from attacking? The one you seek was gone. He is not here anymore. You're right, Naruto, said Kurama. This time you're right, he said. Thank you, Naruto said, as Kurama started to run away. As Naruto then snapped his finger as the golem started to fix by the earth as it then collapsed, pulling up back the craters from the earth that was made from his body. Naruto heard footsteps behind him as he then remembered about Minato. Hokage, said Naruto. Come on, Sage, no need to be so formal. After all, you have been walking in and out of my house for months now. Isn't that right, Dad? As Naruto tried to explain, Minato, I know that you're angry. No, Minato cut him off. You don't get to say anything. What's gonna happen now is that you're gonna follow me to my office and you're going to answer my questions until I'm satisfied. And if you don't do so, I will have you banished from the village, Minato said with his voice in pure anger. Naruto didn't try to fight, as he just nodded. If you wish, he said, as Minato came over to him and placed a hand on his shoulder, as the both of them vanished in a flash, as they reappeared inside his office. As Minato then let go and went over to Kushina, as Naruto saw her eyes were slightly open, her arms were wrapped around her baby, who was lying down on her stomach, who was still unnamed. As Kushina started to blink, trying to get the rest of her body to wake up, as her body was exhausted. As she tried to pick herself up, holding on to her son, but Kushina was stopped by Minato. It's okay, Kushina, it's okay, Minato said. The Kyuubi is gone. Nothing will happen to our son. He's safe. Hearing that, a smile came on Kushina's face. Really? She said. Yes, really, he said. Go to sleep, Kushina. Our son will be there in the morning, and so will I. Those words sapped all of her strength. But before she went to sleep, she whispered 2 words. Koji, Namikaze. Minato smiled hearing his son's name as he kissed Kushina on the forehead. He also kissed Koji. Minato then took in a deep breath as he turned and looked at his father. He stood several feet away with a small smile on his face. Even though Minato was looking at him with an angry look, he still had a smile on his face. I used to do this exact same thing with Minami. When you and Konan were little, your mom would rarely let anyone else hold you, her babies. As Minato didn't say anything, he just walked off as he went around to his seat and sat down. As Naruto walked over and sat down as well. As Minato stared at him for a full minute without saying anything. Minato then activated a privacy seal all around the room. As he looked at Naruto, "Why?" he said. "Why what?" Minato said Naruto. Minato raised his hand as he was about to slam it on the table, but he looked over to Kushina and Koji. As he then stopped. "You know damn well what I'm referring to." As something flashed into Minato's mind. "Why didn't you save Mom? You obviously had the power to do so why didn't you save her? I want to say I'm sorry for keeping this from you, but I know you won't accept any kind of apology. Very well, I owe you the truth, but in order for you to know that, I need to go back a very long time." As Naruto looked directly in Minato's eyes, "I'm old, Minato," he said. "I'm one of the oldest beings that currently walk the earth. I have done many things, even have children before." As pure anger radiated off of Minato, was his mother just someone for him to have children with, like how he did with the others? Does it mean that he has been roaming this earth for a long time now? Just as he was about to accuse Naruto. "I can see that look, Minato. But no, never assume that I didn't love Minami. She was one of only 2 women that I have laid with for all my life." Hearing the voice that Naruto speak in, the anger drained away and it was replaced by guilt. While secretive, Minato has never seen Naruto look at another woman, like he was trying to form another relationship. "I apologize," said Minato. "It was completely unwanted for me to think that way." "It's okay," Naruto said. "My words didn't exactly leave you to come to any other conclusion. But next time, please, wait before accusing me." "So, let's get this over with," said Naruto. As Minato heard how his father spoke of it, he was really uncomfortable talking about this. As Naruto took in a deep breath and told the story of his life, starting from when he had 2 children. Growing up in that time, people were still learning how to use chakra, and my sons knew who I were, and they were strong. So they felt like everything was entitled to them. Me and my wife loved them so much, so we didn't really focus on the bad behavior and the arrogance that they had. Back then, they had a tendency of treating women like an object, like they were nothing. But when it comes to me and their mother, I treated their mother like a queen. I didn't see that, and I didn't feel so arrogant, even though I was far stronger than them. So one night they were late, and I went to go search for them, and I found the both of them in an alley, raping 2 girls. Minato was shocked when he heard that, not about the raping part. He had heard that many times in the elemental nations, but to believe that his brothers could do something like that. And the girls, their minds, it seemed that they couldn't handle the trauma. And Naruto then clenched his fist in pure anger. I got so mad. I attacked the both of them out of blind rage. If I was trying to kill them, they would have been dead in seconds. But I wasn't trying to kill them, and we fought. Even with their strength, they weren't compared to me. And I beated them until they were bloody and bruised and battered, and their bones were broken. After a while I healed them, enough to make them walk, and I head back home. From that day, things has been strange between me and them. Even their mother was disappointed in them. How could they do that? Until they had a phobia against me. They were unable to look me in the eyes and not have flashes of that day when I attacked the both of them, said Naruto. So that is the reason why you did not tell me, said Minato. Those are your reasons. You explained your story, but you still didn't tell me why you allowed Mom to die. Because I was afraid, Naruto whispered. I was afraid I would make the same mistake with you that I did with my first 2 sons. I was afraid that the same thing would happen, and you would flinch every time you see me. As Minato could hear the remorse in his father's voice when he spoke, he could hear how sorry he was. I didn't tell Minami at first because the entire world was looking for me after my involvement with the first Great Shinobi War, and I didn't trust anyone with that information. By the time I felt comfortable to tell her, I was paralyzed by Minami's reaction, feeling that she would be angry for me lying to her for so long. So I decided to remain quiet. Your mom was the first ray of light to enter my life for years. Minato, I didn't want to do anything to jeopardize that. As for the shinobis, Naruto said, as he clenched his fist, I had believed that my limited skills would be enough to take care of the shinobis. Yes, I was right, but my assumption that my family would escape unharmed, that is where I was wrong. Not a day would go by where I don't regret my actions, said Naruto as he lowered his head in silence. Minato then spoke, so what? I am currently warring with myself internally, whether or not to kick you out of the village or my office now. Rape has always and will be a problem, but is something that every nations try to prevent. People have also changed drastically today than how long you were ever talking about. That should have been enough to tell me at least half the truth or something. And let me guess, you didn't tell me this because you didn't trust me. No, said Naruto. It wasn't that I didn't trust you. I wanted to tell you without being feared that I would be pushed out once more. I let my fear overwhelm me, and for that I'm sorry. I just didn't want to be pushed out of your life after just meeting you. Well, I would have reacted better than this, said Minato as Naruto didn't respond. You really screwed this up, didn't you? While the circumstances were out of your control, it shouldn't have gotten to this point, should it? I should have known who you are beforehand, not when you were forced to act. As Naruto didn't say anything, Minato then shook his head. I don't know what to say. A part of me wants to forgive you, for you to be around in Koji's life, more than you were in mine. Another part is telling me to send you out of my village, and that is what you rightly deserve. Naruto said nothing, merely waiting for his son to decide his fate. As Minato then sighed, Get out, he said. Hearing that, Naruto froze for a second. Not out of the village, just my office, as Minato saw Naruto's reaction when he said get out, so he quickly clarified himself. I will decide this later. I have a village to be rebuilding. I don't have time for crap like this. Naruto got up with his face mostly had hint of sadness and remorse, with a small nod, as the illusion that covered his face and his eyes and his hair were back on again. As Naruto walked over to the wall that was in shadows, as he simply disappeared in shadows, as Minato's eyes went narrowed at that. As Minato then looked over to his family on the couch, as he smiled, perhaps not completely messed up, he thought. Hundreds of kilometers away, Madara lay down on the bed. The masked man, as he wasn't wearing any mask now. Without the mask you could see that he wasn't the legendary Madara Uchiha. He was Obito Uchiha, as he was wearing black pants and nothing more. As he was injured badly from the battle with the 4th Hokage and the Elemental Sage, as he just realized how much pain he was in after leaving the battle. His back was a mess, the duo Rasengan that he took leaving great damage there. As you could see the flesh and the muscle and in some parts the bone, but it was slowly healing from the Hoshirama cell on his arms. As Obito then turned as he looked over, "What took you?" he said. "I apologize," said White Zetsu. "We were preoccupied in completing our own mission." But the black part was different. He didn't apologize. "Didn't you say that the sage wouldn't be a problem?" As he said it in a sarcastic tone. "Don't pester me, Zetsu," Obito said in anger. "It shouldn't have taken you that long to get what was needed. What required you to waste so much time? Time that would have been better spent to preventing me from getting so injured." "We were avoiding the senses of the sage," said Zetsu. "He is different from regular shinobi, and he can sense us when he tries. We couldn't flare our chakra like we agreed, because the sage would have sensed us immediately and attacked us. So we decided to intervene at the right moment, providing you with a chance to escape, and you did. I also believe since you'd taken Madara's name, you would have some of his skills," said Black Zetsu. But it appears that I was wrong. As Zetsu just watched Obito clench his fist, but he shook it off. Did you at least manage to get your objective complete? Of course. Good, said Obito. After all, how tonight turned out, we need at least one thing to go our way. It's not that bad, said White Zetsu. Our enemies know nothing of our upcoming organization, and they don't know our identity. Back with Naruto, he showed no indication that he was awake, as he was lying on his bed, but someone entered his apartment, and he already knew who it was. But he was not that good with this person for them to sneak into his house. He felt the person make it towards his bedroom, and silently open his door as they clinged to the wall. Naruto felt the person looking at him, but they didn't do anything for several seconds. They were just standing there. Eventually, the person started to reach into their pouch, getting a weapon. Naruto couldn't tell what it was from his senses, but he could feel it was some sort of projectile weapon. With swift and accuracy, the person threw the weapon, aiming directly at Naruto's heart. But Naruto raised his hand and grabbed the object before it could come anywhere near his chest. As Naruto opened his eyes, he had a 3-pronged kunai in his hand, one of those that his son used. As Naruto looked over to the intruder, as he saw the slitted yellow pupils of Orochimaru. But guys, to be in this episode right here, if you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notifications to be posted. Remember to share this with all of your friends on your social media platform, and also stay in tune, guys. I'm going to be giving you a new episode of What If Naruto had multiple people sealed inside of him, and over on Anime King 2, I'm going to be giving you What If Naruto had the unknown Sharingan, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every video. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, guys. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah guys, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys over Anime King 2. Peace.